see Lambeau Field and Packers, you see what?
I mean, just the tradition. Obviously, you come out of that small little tunnel in the visitors' locker room, and the fans are crazy. They're there to support their team, and it's just a really fun place to play. And obviously, they're always good, so that's another reason. When you're playing against good teams and teams that are consistent in the playoffs, those are the teams you want to play, and those are the teams you want to play well against.
You guys watch Aaron Rodgers on film and sometimes shake your head at what he's been able to do over the course of his career.
Yeah, I mean, I think for the last, since I've been in the NFL, watching, especially obviously they play against our division. They're in our division, so you watch them pretty much every week against every team you play. And just some of the throws he's able to make. And then you watch him live and see what he did last week. I mean, the guy's never out of a football game. And he's one guy in this league that can make a huge difference when he's on the field. And he's really never out of a game, like I said. So he's obviously a guy, when you're on offense, you're sitting on the sidelines, you're a little more nervous than usual.
In some respects, the Vikings have been more amazing because you guys have won the division 2 over the last 3 years. I don't even know how many different quarterbacks you've had. I mean, there's 2 different ways. If you can have one quarterback, great, but you guys have done it with all kinds of different quarterbacks.
Yeah, I think it says a lot about this team. We don't really, worry about outside of what we have to do individually in our jobs. And I think we have a lot of fighters in this locker room that just love to play the game of football and are going to do what it takes to win. And sometimes that means sacrificing individual success to have this team win games. Well, honestly, anywhere you're playing on the road, because it's really tough to win on the road. But obviously, Lambeau, New Orleans, those places that have just a crazy atmosphere. You can't hear anything, and it's tough to get any type of communication outside of the huddle. So, there's a lot of places that are tough to play. But like I said, anytime you're on the road in the NFL, it's just not easy to win games.
Is it just noise, or because all stadiums are kind of becoming the same as a field turf, and there's a few grass left, but does the surface have anything to do with the sidelines, travel?
No, I mean, I think travel has something to do with it. I think you can get thrown off a little bit from traveling, and you have to learn early in your career how to handle that and how to adjust with that. But most of it is just noise. Noise, atmosphere. Team success. I mean, they've had a lot of success in the past, and that you're gonna get their best effort every time you play there.
How do you learn early in your career just to make sure you work that on time?
Yeah, I think kind of getting yourself in a routine. I think it's important to, right when you get to a place, to get hydrated and just lay down for a little while before you go eat and things like that. Just getting on an airplane and flying and being on the buses and things like that, it takes a lot out of you. And like I said, early in your career, you kind of have to figure out, okay, what works for me to make sure that I'm not feeling it the next day.
Especially when it slides off the runway.
Yeah, especially when you're on a plane for 4 hours and stuck on a runway. I think it's 11 o'clock, something like that. I'm usually sleeping before then, so I don't really know.
Did you ever take a glance at that as you go through that parking lot and you see all those Green Bay Packer fans out there? Because that is pretty cool. What do you see as that bus pulls in? How does that hit you?
Yeah, I think it just says a lot about their fan base. I mean, it's a loyal fan base. It doesn't matter how many wins they have that year. They're going to show up. They're going to tailgate. And I think it's cool. I love pulling into a stadium and seeing all the people out there tailgating, having fun, playing games, and having a couple adult beverages. And I think that it's football to me. That's Sundays. It's football, and that's what you want. Well, I think they've obviously focused a lot on that area this offseason, and you can see it on film. They have some young guys that are playing really good football. Obviously, it's still early in the season, but they're fast, they're physical, they're well coached, and I think it's kind of similar to last week. You don't really see on film too many mistakes as far as dropping coverage and things like that, especially early in the season. That's pretty impressive for some young guys. I think just understanding some, route concepts. Obviously, they have a couple of veteran guys that understand that extremely well. Tremon's a guy who's played a lot of football in this league, and he understands route concepts. He understands splits and, quarterback drops and things like that. And so I think that's something that you pick up as a DB, you pick up as you go along. And, we have a lot of those guys on our team that have seen pretty much every look come at them, so they have a little bit of a better understanding of how to play certain leverages and things like that.
Obviously, the Super Bowl is a goal every year, but how much pride do you guys take in these NFC North titles and coming out and defending that each year?
Well, that's goal number one. I mean, we know how important it is to win in this division, and then on top of that, win on the road in the division. Coach talks about it. He's been talking about that since OTA started. So we know that this is a huge week for us, not just because it's a rivalry game, but it's because it's against a team that has a lot of success in this division, and it's on the road. So we know we have to go out there and play some good football.
Most of the time you're playing them late in the season when the field is maybe sloppy. What's the advantage? Is it offense or defense that has an advantage on a sloppy field?
I don't think either side has an advantage, honestly. I think that's why surface doesn't really determine a football game at all, because both sides have to play with it. Defensive backs have to get out of their breaks, and so do we as receivers. So I don't think there's really an advantage to either side to have a sloppy field. So I'm just excited to be able to play there and not have to wear some layers or put on some second skin and do all that in the cold. So it'll be fun.
Is that kind of the mutual feeling between everybody? Playing early at Lambeau is a lot better opposed to playing in December when it's freezing out there?
Yeah, I think everybody except for the fans will say that it's better to just play early when it's nice out. I think the fans love being in the cold and having that classic Lambeau December football. But us as players, we'd rather just be out there in the summer and when the surface is good.